Instead of reading an ad for a paying sponsor, we are donating this ad space to small businesses and mutual aid efforts in Minneapolis that benefit immigrants, protesters, and activists. Today, I want to spotlight Pimento Relief, an organization providing emergency relief for immigrant workers and their families, as well as restaurants who are losing business as a result of the government's actions. Go to givemn.org/organization/pimento-foundation to find ways you can support. Once again, that's givemn.org/organization/pimento-foundation.
Hello, my little Havocreekers. Thank you so much for listening to the first season of 2008, and get prepared for an absolutely smashing season 2, hopefully coming sometime in late 2026 or early 2027. In the meantime, show your allegiance to yours truly by going to atypicalartist.co/merch and get a Havocreeker button or a Wreak Some Havoc sticker. They are absolutely fabulous. Remember to always go out there and wreak some havoc. All right, back to the show.
This episode contains discussion of violence, warfare, sex, emotional abuse, and body horror. Listener discretion is advised.
The Pod's the Thing.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Pod's the Thing, a Shakespeare podcast by actors, for actors, and everyone else, where we take a glimpse behind the curtain into how we build our performances and break down Shakespeare's text. I am joined today by my co-conspirators, Felix Trench, Calder Schilling, and our very special guest for this episode, Jordan Cobb. Welcome, Jordan.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
I'm so excited that you're here. You've been part of figuring out what this show is going to be for a very long time. And so I'm so excited that we're actually doing it. For those of you who don't know Jordan, Jordan is an amazing actor, a writer, a creator, audiobook narrator, audio drama creator, just like all the things. You're a true Renaissance woman.
So many hats.
So many hats. So many hats. We love that. We love wearing lots of hats here. But we bonded many years ago over our shared love of Shakespeare, and I'm so excited that we're finally here. And that actually leads me into Jordan. Can you tell us a little bit about your background with Shakespeare?
Oh God.
Sorry, I'm putting you on the spot.
I know it's one of those when did Shakespeare and I?
For me, it began when I was 7. Yeah.
Back when I was a young girl. Initially it was just a lot of reading Shakespeare's plays in school. That was pretty much through middle school and high school was my initial introduction. And never really actually got to sit down and perform any Shakespeare until I was in college. So
wow.
Yeah.
That's
great.
What were your school Shakespeares?
In school we read Macker's, Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet. Oh my God, one of the most embarrassing things that ever happened to me in an English class happened when we read Hamlet, because I had seen a version that they did with Shakespeare in the Park where they changed the ending and they killed Horatio at the end. So, the prince and his whole army comes in at the end.
Fortinbras comes in and kills Horatio?
Yeah, comes in and, they do the whole oh, yes, come tell us the whole story. And, Horatio starts to walk off stage and Fortinbras just made a little gesture and his guards just grabbed Horatio and murdered him. And I saw that when I was maybe 11. And for years, I thought that was how Hamlet ended. And so we read it in English class. And I raised my hand at the end and I was like, wait, but I don't understand. When does Horatio get killed? My teacher looks at me and goes, what? I explain all of this, and she's like, no, Horatio can't die at the end. If Horatio dies, then no one's there to tell the story, and it's not a tragedy, it's just a travesty.
This is why I say Shakespeare should never been performed. It should remain on the page.
So that was
oh my gosh.
my intro there. And then when I was in college, I did a full year of just studying Shakespeare my junior year.
Amazing.
And ironically, one of the 2 plays that we did in rep was Hamlet.
Nice full circle moment.
Beautiful full circle. And I've just really been hooked on it ever since. Seeing as much of it as I can, reading as much of it as I can, yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's an amazing story. Can't believe they killed Horatio.
I truly just murdered him in cold blood for no reason.
Well, today we are not going to be looking at Hamlet. We're going to be looking at a different tragedy, or travesty, as the case may be, and that is the tragedy of Richard III. For my acting thesis in college, I played Richard III, and I wrote a paper to go alongside that, all about the evolution of the villain in Western theater. So I know this play probably better than any other play, though it has been a long time since I've done it. But there was like a moment around the time that I was graduating college and for a few years thereafter where it felt like everybody was doing Richard III. So I saw a lot of productions of this play. I think this play lives or dies on how you cut it because it's very long. It is technically, it sort of falls in between tragedy and history. It is, obviously, Richard III was a real person, and we've learned a lot about who Richard III may have been and what he might have been like in the past 10, 15 years or so. So that gives interesting context. But for the sake of this play, we're dealing with a lot of British history and politics that, at least for American audiences, can be a little daunting. And that's why I say I think a lot of this play depends on how you cut it. Regardless of that, Richard is one of the greatest characters in Shakespeare, in my opinion, and there are some amazing scenes in this play. So, anyway, that's me. Oh, I also saw, since I always talk about Mark Rylance, I got to see Mark Rylance play Richard III when he was doing Richard and Twelfth Night in Rep on Broadway. And I've seen a few other productions of it as well. And obviously the Sir Laurence Olivier film and Sir Ian McKellen. If you have not seen Ian McKellen's Richard III, it is wild.
That was the winter of hot discontent, inglorious summer.
Impeccable. Has anybody else been in this play or seen cool productions? Calder, yes, you've been in it.
I was in one. I did it one time, completely uncut. This was with the Adirondack Shakespeare Company, where I did a lot of work, and they do fully uncut and sort of original practices style, so unrehearsed.
Nice.
As well. You come fully off book, and then you spend it's like 10 to 12 hours of prep time per show, and they're usually doing a rep season, so we're doing like 3 or 4 plays in rep, and you would basically that time is spent on any music or stage combat that's in the shows to make sure that we're staying safe.
Yeah.
And then they also do like a little bit of kind of like a more like movement-based exploration of character. It's like a very it's an interesting process, but I think what it actually does is it allows you to really dial into emotional stakes really easily when you don't have the time to actually build those relationships in a proper rehearsal process. So yeah, I did it once. I played Clarence.
Nice.
And that was quite fun. But yeah, it can be a bit of a clunker if it's uncut. It's a chunky play, and there are some parts of it that just kind of, they really break up the flow of the story a little bit.
Yes. My feeling is I feel like people generally either cut Margaret or they cut Stanley. And Margaret is not really important to the plot, but her part is so good, where she comes in and curses them.
Yes, terrible.
And Stanley is technically like pivotal at the end to the plot and how Richard's overthrown, but really is very uninteresting otherwise, in my opinion. And so I tend to judge a production on whether they cut one of those two people. That's just my little
Yeah,
side.
very good. Yeah, we didn't cut anything from the
Okay,
production that I was
good,
again
good.
has been a long time
Sure.
since I've done it, but I do love the play very much. I agree with you. I think that this, Richard specifically is one of the greatest characters we have in Western theatrical tradition.
Oh, yeah.
Just absolutely fascinating. And I also saw that Mark Rylance in New York on Broadway, and I thought that was just absolutely transcendent. I loved that show.
I've never been more jealous in my life.
Oh my God, it was incredible. When he finally gets crowned, he did this little, the stage is empty, it's just him, and he does this little dance. And it was just so good. Good.
When we get Mark Rylance on this show is when we know we've struck.
Oh, you've made it
big.
You've made it beyond making it.
But we will talk about him in every episode until that happens.
Yeah, exactly. How else are you supposed to get his attention?
Exactly.
Say his name enough times and he appears.
Yes,
Exactly. Like Rumpelstiltskin or something.
That is exactly how Shakespeare works.
Yes. Felix, do you have any experience with this play?
Not huge. I'm kind of aware of it because it's quite hard not to be aware of it. I'm aware of it zeitgeistedly. I think Now is the Winter is one of those monologues that's been around forever. Well, since about the 17th century. But it is one of those that gets used as a teaching tool quite a lot. Mm-hmm. I think any time I've been in a class about iambics, people like to make the point about trochaic feet. Do you know what I mean by trochaic feet?
Would you explain what you mean by trochaic feet?
Iambic pentameter, we break it down to ti-tum-ti-tum-ti-tum-ti-tum-ti-tum, because that is an iamb, a foot, 2 syllables that go unstressed, stressed. If we swap that, stressed, unstressed, that is called a trochee. A trochaic foot, therefore, just a foot that's a trochee.
A foot that's a trochee.
If you've got an unstressed, stressed, or you've got stressed, unstressed, that's a trochee, baby.
Yeah.
Often a soliloquy will start lines with trochaic feet, and this particular monologue is used as an example where now might be an option that you would choose in these circumstances. I mean, you know, who knows? Maybe they really did mean to go in and go, now is the time of our discontent. Who bloody knows? But I saw it last year, I think, for the first time in full with Mark Rylance's successor, Michelle Terry, who is the current artistic director of the Globe.
Yes.
And is doing the same thing. She is actor manager. I saw her the year before as Puck. She was incredible.
Oh, amazing.
So I was so excited to see this production, which I should say came with a certain level of controversy. Because to my knowledge, she has not publicly spoken about any kind of disability. So there was a large, let's say, conversation around whether the artistic director of the Globe should be taking on this role.
Sure.
But I went along to see it. It is still an important moment in the theatre calendar, is Michelle Terry taking on Richard, and it was played very modern. It was played very sort of politically, and the set design got more and more modern as the play went on. So it kind of started to bring in bits of neon and graffiti. Anyway, she was great. I mean,
that's kind of cool.
Michelle Terry.
That's kind of cool. Yeah.
I was thinking a little bit, you said that the history can be daunting for non-UK audiences. It is daunting for me as a UK audience.
Okay.
My God, do I not know the kings and queens? I don't really care.
Exactly.
It was so long ago.
That's the thing. I don't think anybody cares.
I know. But I was just I was looking him up. So Richard, 15th century, to put this point in context, I was just trying to figure out what's happening at the time of Richard. Columbus is happening at the time of Richard. The action is not in Britain. This is what we are talking about in England, because Britain, the Act of Union hasn't happened yet. The European action is in other parts of Europe, and Columbus is off trying to find the Indies at this point in time.
Oh, wow.
I didn't put that together, that was happening all at the same time. That's pretty crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think is very much in Shakespeare's zeitgeist, in his knowledge at that time, because years later, towards the end of his life, he writes The Tempest, which supposedly is pulling very much from the kind of conversations around the exploration of the New World.
Yeah.
It's funny because I kind of always put, and I'm sure other people do this as well, but Shakespeare sort of lives in its own separate bubble a lot of the time, even with the
Shakespeare
histories and yeah, well, I mean, despite the fact that, you know, he pulls from a lot of very real world things that were happening like within the sphere of his lifetime. I tend to be looking at it from a much greater distance. It all feels like it kind of exists separately from history, that there's something otherly about it, almost heightened.
Yeah.
And having that kind of context of where it does fall in the real world is...
And I think you have to think about him, because he does. You do kind of go, there is the Shakespeare verse. But if you think about it as new writing, and if you think about it as the time that this goes out, and probably Richard Burbage as the first person to step out on stage and say, now is the winter, that is a new writing performance for an audience who are used to watching basically Plautus.
Yeah.
He is writing something that happens, 100 to 150 years before? So this is like a play that is about Victoria for us, or Abraham Lincoln. You know, that is the kind of specifics in his mind. This is like not fresh, but it is
relevant
within general culture.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool context. Jordan, any other experiences that you have had with this play before we dive into the scene?
Yeah. So, I mean, I fell in love with Richard as a character when I was doing a production where we were doing like the entire War of the Roses set of plays, which was wild to experience. The only time I have ever seen Richard III. So I happened to be in London when Ray Fiennes was performing it.
Oh, amazing.
And this was just after they had made the discovery of Richard's presumed body
remains
in the
car park.
Yeah, for those who don't know, they think that they found the remains of Richard III buried under a parking lot. And so the way that the show opened, they had this team of excavators, you know, walking around the stage, and there was like this big sunken pit, and you could see the body in the middle of the stage, and they're, you know, actively excavating it. And, you know, pre-show stuff ends, the excavators leave, a glass sheet rolls out over the top of the pit to make it level with the stage. Ray Fiennes walks out and starts performing Now is the Winter of Our Discontent, standing over his own corpse. It was the most unbelievable thing. And the entire play is centered around, you just see this, you know, sort of fetal position body.
Wow.
Quote unquote buried under the stage, under absolutely like it basically served as every corpse that they have to talk to in the course of the play. It was they did the whole thing. The whole thing. I mean, at the end, my horse, a kingdom for a horse, standing over his own body, and you're like, oh, he's not going to get it. He's not going to get that horse. Oh, no.
He's not going to get the horse. The horse isn't coming. No.
It was unbelievable. Oh,
that's amazing.
Really cool design choice.
Oh my
I love that.
gosh.
Never forgotten that, and I don't think I ever will. Best thing I've ever seen.
Okay, so we are going to be doing Act 1, Scene 2 of this play, which is between Richard and Lady Anne. And I'm going to try to give concise context, again, for what matters, what we care about in this scene. So basically, and others feel free to chime in and help me because, again, it's been a while. But yeah, so we just had 3 Henry VIs as part of the cycle of the War of the Roses. And basically, War of the Roses is the Lancasters versus the Yorks, right? And Richard is part of the House of York. And they're in charge now. His brother Edward is the king. Richard's not particularly happy about this because he thrives in times of war, and he says that he cannot prove a lover, and yet the first thing he does in this play, or almost the first thing he does in this play, is try to woo Lady Anne, who is the widow of... Who's she the widow of? She's the widow of a Lancaster, for sure. And she's literally mourning over the body of...
Edward.
Yes. So she's the widow of Henry VI's heir. And she is mourning over the body of Henry VI in this scene. We're going to skip this first monologue, though it's quite wonderful, but it is a very long scene. So we're going to skip Anne's beautiful monologue over the dead corpse. The dead corpse. I think you can just say corpse. Over the corpse.
Well, you know,
as opposed to the alive corpse.
The zombies.
Oh my God, Richard III with zombies? Yes, sign me up.
Yes, please sign me up too, actually. I would love that.
A brain, my kingdom for a brain.
If Gabrielle Urbina is listening, I'm just saying.
I would say this has Jordan Cobb written all over
Oh,
it. But,
don't tempt me, because you know I'll do it.
I know you will. So basically, Richard has decided that he's going to overthrow his brothers and become king. But a lot of things have to happen in order for that to happen. And one of the things that needs to happen is he needs to woo Lady Anne. So this is his seduction scene. So we're going to start with his entrance. Jordan is going to read Richard for us. Thank you, Jordan. And then the rest of us are going to fight over who gets to read for Lady Anne.
I will nominate Calder Schilling for this one. And I
Excellent.
will puppet. I will direct. I will
Excellent.
shout.
Would you be the gentleman, Felix?
Oh my God, I'd love to be the gentleman.
Yes, the gentleman.
Thank you
Great.
so much
You're
for
so
asking.
welcome. I thought this role had you written all over it.
Yeah.
Okay, is that enough context, do we think, to enter into this scene?
Let's find out.
Yeah, let's dive in. So some gentlemen are carrying the corpse of King Henry, and enter Richard, Duke of Gloucester.
Stay, you that bear the corse, and set it down.
Okay, stop.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Corse or corpse.
Speaking
Yeah.
of corpses.
right, I've just been looking this up. Apparently, the P gets added in the 16th century at this point in time, even though
Really?
the Latin is corpus. Yeah.
Huh.
we just say course because who gives a shit?
It's like corps, right? For like the Marine Corps.
Exactly, and in French
Yeah.
it's corps. So
Yeah,
you've got the P in
yeah.
French, but you don't say it.
Right.
That's wild.
It's the fault of the French. Isn't it always?
I like the double meaning that it sort of implies too in a little bit more of a contemporary context, which is like the route that you are following. Mm-hmm. You that sort of bear follow the course.
Mm-hmm.
It's like course and corpse. You can kind of, there's a little bit of a,
You're
a double
absolutely
meaning.
right. Yeah. You don't get that if you use the.
If you put the
modern
P in
pronunciation.
there, you don't
Yeah.
get it.
And I will say, in the RSC, it is corpse. It has the P in there.
Editors.
I know, right?
So what do we think? Do we course it out or do we corpse it up?
I think you say course.
I think course.
All right.
I like that double entendre that we were talking about.
Yeah, I think your choice as the performer,
Speak your truth, Jordan.
It's up to me?
Yeah.
I do love a good double entendre.
Well, your choice. Let's take it again, and then into Lady Anne.
All right. Stay, you that bear the corse, and set it down.
What black magician conjures up this fiend to stop devoted charitable deeds?
Villains, set down the corse, or by St. Paul, I'll make a course of him that disobeys.
A course like food. Yes, is that the joke? I'll make an entree.
Oh, that would be the
Ooh.
double entendre there.
second one.
Otherwise, I think it's just he's gonna kill you.
Oh,
Yeah,
right, yes, cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot the whole discussion we just had.
We need an entendre for every course.
An entendre for every course. Felix, this is your moment.
Oh, God. The stage fright.
Yeah, I know. This is a big
So,
part.
Richard, would you mind reading me in?
Of course. Oh, God. Sorry. We are serious professional actors, everyone. Villains, set down the course, or by St. Paul, I'll make a course of him that disobeys.
My lord, stand back, and let the coffin pass.
Unmannered dog, stand thou when I command. Advance thy halberd higher than my breast, or by St. Paul I'll strike thee to my foot and spurn upon thee, beggar, for thy boldness.
There's a lot of references to St. Paul here, too, by the way. He's really about it.
Who I don't know. What's St. Paul's deal?
Well, he's got a cathedral opposite the Globe these days, but I think that might have come later.
I think so,
Yeah.
Just think it's interesting that he references him twice in the first, 3 lines of this.
And I wonder if that is later on, because they're, standing over this corpse. They're trying to basically pay their respects to this king who has passed. I wonder if this is the best of Richard's attempts to, present some sort of front of holiness in this, sort of somber moment.
I also like the idea that he's not particularly holy and he only knows the one saint.
Yup.
And so he's just calling on the same saint by Saint Paul.
Saint Paul. In my Riverside version, it does give a note that just says, for Paul's, it just says St. Paul's Cathedral in London. So I guess according to them, they would think that it existed at the time, that Shakespeare is making a direct reference to the cathedral, but
The cathedral was built after.
That's
but
interesting.
I think it might have been a rebuild, because that's Christopher Fry, isn't it, who built
gotta
St. Paul's
be.
Cathedral. So there might have been a St. Paul's on that site.
Oh, there's another great note in here. It says that there's some historical context for the actual figures, but it is said that when they exhumed the corpse of, I think it's Henry VI, in St. Paul's, his corpse bled when they took it out and showed it to people, which is supposed to be a sign that he was murdered, and the guilty parties will come forth, is it in blood, they say. They will have blood.
Anne actually also makes reference to exactly that in a couple of lines.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's sort of what that... So whatever St. Paul's was at the time, it probably wasn't the cathedral, right, that we know now, but there was something.
Yeah. Can we take it from Anne's "What do you tremble"?
Yeah.
So they have set down. So Richard has he has intimidated these pallbearers into setting down the course.
What do you tremble? Are you all afraid? Alas, I blame you not, for you are mortal, and mortal eyes cannot endure the devil. Avaunt, thou dreadful minister of hell! Thou hadst but power over his mortal body, his soul thou canst not have, therefore be gone.
There is this tension already in this scene between what is holy and what is satanic, what is devilish. Richard is often referred to as a devil throughout this play.
Both by himself and by others.
Indeed. It is sort of the thing about Richard is that his villainy is very self-aware.
Yeah, he deliberately goes out of his way and, chooses to be as villainous as possible, as often as possible.
Yeah.
Which does sort of lead a little bit to that sort of popular perspective at the time, but that idea that if you were bad inside, it showed up on your outside.
Yes.
That, if you're ugly, it's because you're a bad person.
Yeah.
Which is terrible, but
It's terrible. Yeah.
The beginning of this play, Richard sort of addresses that idea that he's this deformed person, and therefore no one will let him be anything but a monster.
Right.
And he sort of says, fine, if that's what you all say that I am, then I'll be the worst one you can possibly imagine. I'm going to sort of take on that.
And there's a way, if you're playing this part, and I think probably most people playing this part, and I won't get too far into the medieval morality plays tradition that led up to this and the villains of Shakespeare and Marlowe and stuff like that. But in a modern context, if you're playing this part, I think there's a way to see that Richard truly believes that he's been mistreated, and he probably has been. And also, apparently, historically, he was kind of a beast. He was like a warrior. He may or may not have had any sort of disability or deformity, quote unquote, but he was tough. And so there's just a lot of really interesting ways to think about and build this character.
Yeah, and I mean, jumping off of two of those points there, one, because he not only fought in pretty much the entirety of the War of the Roses, but he survived a good chunk of the War of the Roses, and it wasn't primarily through his scheming, even in the Shakespeare plays.
Yeah.
We are in this room, standing over the corpse of King Henry, because Richard had a part in killing this man, and also killing Anne's husband. Like, he's physically capable of that.
Okay, take it away, Richard, with Sweet Saint for charity.
Sweet saint, for charity be not so cursed.
Foul devil, for God's sake hence and trouble us not. For thou hast made the happy earth thy hell, filled it with cursing cries and deep exclaims. If thou delight to see thy heinous deeds, behold this pattern of thy butcheries. O gentlemen, see dead Henry's wounds open their congealed mouths and bleed afresh. Blush, blush, thou lump of foul deformity, for 'tis thy presence that exhales this blood from cold and empty veins where no blood dwells. Thy deeds, inhuman and unnatural, provokes this deluge most unnatural. O God, which this blood madest, revenge his death. O earth, which this blood drinkst, revenge his death. Either heaven with lightning strike the murderer dead, or earth gape open wide and eat him quick, as thou dost swallow up this good king's blood, which his hell-governed arm hath butchered.
It's very Greek, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I call upon the heavens, I call upon the earth.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
it starts with ew.
Yes. There's that thing we were talking about. The
Congealed mouths.
Yeah.
What a
Yeah.
phrase.
Yeah.
No.
Which again, part of that legend, right? That in the presence of the murderer, the wounds bleed again. You know, sort of
Yeah.
show the guilt.
There's a sort of, just sort of trying to imagine this on the Globe stage. You can see Lady Anne going up to the gods and then looking down to the earth to do this. You know, she goes sort of back and forth. You can see the sort of the fight for who's in charge in this scene so very clearly. There's something really noble about Anne.
Absolutely.
I forget. I think this is a pretty comparatively early Shakespeare play, right? I think he wrote this one earlier in his career. The meter is generally very regular. And you can see in this scene, I think particularly that like the rhetorical devices are incredibly formulaic, but like very effective. But you will see throughout this whole exchange, these two characters just picking up on what the last person said and putting a little twist on it and feeding it right back. There's this sort of give into, and similarly in just this last speech, doing it with herself, Anne is like, unnatural, like heaven and earth. There's this sort of it's got a formula that she's sort of going through, like, now we do this part, you know, it's self-referential.
There's also a bit of the sort of Beatrice and Benedict about it.
Sure.
In the back and forth of they are picking up on each other's lines and twisting and playing, which is very much how in Shakespeare, that's how romance works. It's all wordplay. And the thing that I love about Richard is that you cannot let him get you into a battle of words, because that's how he gets you every single time. If you let him start talking, he'll catch you every time.
And you see in this play also just how clever he is. And in many ways, Anne is his match. And so it's not like he's just picking her, but I think it's more like proving that he can. I can woo the woman whose husband I just killed.
Yeah, he has
father-in-law I just killed.
He has a line about that in the monologue at the very end where he's talking about how, you know, like even as she is spitting poison in my face, even as she is weeping for her dead husband, I'm still going to take her because I can, is the gist of that monologue.
And it's such a confidence boost for him. He's like, oh man, I must actually be kind of a great. Everybody tells me how shitty I am, and like, actually, maybe I'm handsome, you know, I'm gonna like put on some nice clothes. I'm gonna spend a little money, you know.
It's like his redemption arc.
Even he was shocked by it.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I was just having a look after you said that it was an early one. 1592 to 1594. Henry VI Part 3, 1591. So I sort of see this as like the audience going, hey Shakespeare, hey Will, you know how you've done all the Henrys. Are we getting it? And then one of them goes, yeah, we're getting it! I love that guy. Richard said, best story ever.
because Richard is in particularly the third part of Henry VI, and oftentimes parts of his stuff in Henry VI get put in this play.
Yeah, there's that famous speech, that soliloquy that
I can add colors to the camellia.
I always thought was in Richard III, and I was like, oh no, wait.
Yeah,
it's actually
in Henry VI, and it's and Olivier. I think I'm sure others did before and have done so after as well. But Olivier famously in his Richard III, he took parts from Henry VI and put it into Now is the Winter of Our Discontent. So anyway, Richard, shall we take it away with Lady, you know no rules of charity?
Aye, aye, Captain. Lady, you know no rules of charity, which renders good for bad, blessings for curses.
Villain, thou knowst no law of God nor man. No beast so fierce but knows some touch of pity.
But I know none, and therefore am no beast.
Oh, wonderful when devils tell the truth.
More wonderful when angels are so angry. Vouchsafe, divine perfection of a woman, of these supposed crimes, to give me leave by circumstance but to acquit myself.
Vouchsafe, diffused infection of a man, of these known evils, but to give me leave by circumstance to curse thy cursed self.
So essentially, Richard is saying, like, wait, give me a chance to explain myself here. You're accusing me of all these crimes, but let me defend myself.
And again, we're getting this same wordplay that you were Jordan and Calder, you were both talking about.
It's that back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fairer than tongue can name thee, let me have some patient leisure to excuse myself.
Fouler than heart can think thee, thou canst make no excuse current but to hang thyself.
By such despair I should accuse myself.
And by despairing shalt thou stand excused for doing worthy vengeance on thyself that didst unworthy slaughter upon others.
Say that I slew them not.
Then say they were not slain, but dead they are, and devilish slave by thee.
I did not kill your husband.
Why, then he is alive.
I just realised that we're doing all of this basically at a funeral.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you imagine having this conversation at a funeral?
Yeah, over the corpse.
Yeah,
exactly.
When I saw this, the people who had been, carrying the body out.
The gentleman.
Yeah, the gentleman.
What a character.
Yeah, I know. They had left the room, and so Anne and Richard were alone on stage when this was happening. But there is, at least not in the Arden where I was looking and not on the Folger that I'm looking at now, there's no direction saying that the gentlemen have left the room, and when Anne leaves later, she makes direct reference to bringing two other people who are in the room with her to have them also exit alongside her. This is happening, potentially, in front of an audience, and it might be an audience of people who, people of Richard and Anne's standings might not actually, this is going to sound horrible, but they're not going to, count them as people in the room.
Right.
But there is an audience besides the people sitting in their chairs, eating their chocolates and going, oh my God, Richard's so awful, isn't he?
Yeah.
There are people actively standing there in their mourning garbs like, Jesus Christ, is he hitting on her right now?
Yeah.
Over the corpse of her father-in-law?
Yeah, he's bold.
Yeah, there's some interesting incomplete lines here, which again, we were talking about sort of having extra blank feet might indicate action. I think we can also sort of imply that a pause of some kind is necessary, is being asked for by the scansion in this moment. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just great placement because it seems to come right after Richard says outrageous things.
Yeah, I know.
Anne needs to take a minute to be
silence.
She's quick, right? She's sharp, but even she's like, wait, what did you just say to me?
What did you just say? Yeah. Let's take it from Richard's I did not kill your husband.
I did not kill your husband.
Why, then he is alive.
Nay, he is dead and slain by Edward's hands.
In thy foul throat thou liest. Queen Margaret saw thy murderous falchion smoking in his blood, the which thou once didst bend against her breast, but that thy brothers beat aside the point.
What's a falchion?
It's like a scimitar. It's a curved sword.
I'm sorry, Richard has a scimitar. I did not realize this.
Which, honestly,
didn't realize he had an awesome weapon.
Yeah, he's a badass.
Yes, super cool. And according to Anne, was gonna kill Queen Margaret in the heat of the moment as well.
Yes, that's a scene we get in one of the Henry. I can't remember if it's Henry II or Henry Part 3. But we do get that scene too, which is fun.
Yes.
It's so fun to think of the audience remembering like what they've actually seen
Right?
dramatized
It's like-
for them, you know.
It's like, this is like their Game of Thrones, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
that was where Game of Thrones apparently pulled from. Was the War of the Roses.
Absolutely.
Interesting that a falchion is a curved sword, because traditionally, or at least as I have been taught, traditionally the quote-unquote deformity that they give Richard III is that he has a hunched back, so that his weapon would match himself in some way, shape, or form is
That is interesting.
a potentially very interesting thing to play with.
Visually.
Scoliosis, isn't it?
I think...
I think that was confirmed by the corpse.
Yes, yeah, I think
Leicester
that
Square
was...
corpse?
Yeah.
Right, but it wouldn't have been a hunchback, which is how he's often described. Which, if we
Yeah.
want, we can get into the whole Robert
Yeah.
Cecil thing. Just basically the context of the time, like Shakespeare is commenting on contemporary politics for him, which he can't do directly, obviously, because that would be treasonous. But
Right.
with Queen Elizabeth being quite old at this time and not having an heir, there's sort of a brewing controversy over succession. And Robert Cecil, who is the son to Queen Elizabeth's main advisor, is supposedly, we have a primary source material from the time that describes him as, let me see, I have it right here. Yeah, a slight, crooked, humpbacked young gentleman, dwarfish in stature. So it is pretty clear that the Elizabethan audience would have known who Richard III was supposed to be in the contemporary
Was
context.
supposed to be representing.
This guy who's supposed to be like kind of a schemer, and he was partly responsible for the Protestant influence that came in after and James I taking power, and so all this sort of Shakespeare
Right.
being a Catholic was kind of not real happy
Not
about
not
that
into
idea.
that. Not into that.
Yeah, there's so much. There's so much.
There's so much.
There's a
so
lot
much.
packed into, especially the histories, which, it's so good.
Yes.
It's so good.
I know. It's so good. It's so good.
Sorry, I'm still on this curved sword that apparently
you
is
can't
also
get over it. Yeah.
smoking?
Oh, yes.
like on
So
fire.
that's,
The blood.
actually, that is a thing that happens when, so because I did a little bit of research on this for a thing that I just finished writing, but blood, when it exists inside the human body, is typically very, very hot, like 98 point something odd degrees. And so when, especially, when they would have been fighting back then out in the open, it's going to be very cold a lot of the time. When you stab someone and you pull the sword out, the blood on the blade is so hot, it starts to steam in the air when you pull the sword out. And so it
Oh my God.
literally, the blood will smoke.
I love you, Jordan. I love that you know this.
I write horror and I'm a big ass
Yeah.
nerd.
There's a great line in King Lear right after, I think it's Goneril goes off stage towards the end of the play and kills herself. And a servant comes running back on with a bloody dagger and he goes, "'Tis hot, it smokes."
Yeah. The smoking dagger, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's
Yeah.
smoking guns.
Yeah, smoking guns,
The smoking
steaming
dagger,
daggers.
smoking guns. Oh, that's such a creepy thing to think
Right?
about.
I also just looked at this and I may have slightly misled you. I'm not seeing evidence that falchions were explicitly curved. They look like there are straight.
But they are in my head
They-
from now on.
Well, but I like that. I like that imagery, right? Like imagining him having like a curved sheath along his curved back.
Ah.
I'm
It's
imagining-
good, it's good design. It's
He's
good
just
design.
getting
it's good
cooler and
design.
cooler by the moment.
Not only is it curved, he can throw it. It's like
Yeah.
a boomerang
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
This is such good audio content.
Yeah.
No recording has ever made me happier.
Oh, good. Where did we finish?
I was provoked.
I was provoked. Let's take it from I was provoked.
I was provoked by her slanderous tongue that laid their guilt upon my guiltless shoulders.
Thou wast provoked by thy bloody mind, that never dream'st on aught but butcheries. Didst thou not kill this king?
I grant you.
Dost grant me, hedgehog? Then God grant me too. Thou mayst be damned for that wicked deed. Oh, he was gentle, mild, and virtuous.
The better for the King of heaven that hath him.
He is in heaven, where thou shalt never come.
Let him thank me that hope to send him thither, for he was fitter for that place than earth.
And thou unfit for any place but hell.
Yes, one place else, if you will hear me name it.
Some dungeon.
Your bedchamber.
Damn, Richard.
God damn. That's, like, y'all gotta admit, that's low-key smooth.
Yeah,
right there.
right. He's got
Some
game.
dungeon.
He's got game.
There may be whips and chains, babe, but
Yeah.
he is smooth. It's that silver tongue that he's just, for all his prowess on the battlefield, his number one weapon is that silver tongue.
Yeah, he's kind of the full package, you know? He's
Yeah.
witty. He's a great fighter.
He's witty. He's
got
evil.
a smoking falchion.
I agree. I'm with Richard on this one.
Yeah. He can do no wrong in my eyes.
He can do nothing but wrongs.
Yeah.
But they all seem so right.
Right?
The gaslighting that's
I
happening in this whole
know.
scene.
It's insane.
And it just gets worse. It
so
just
much
gets worse.
So much worse.
Although I will say something that's really, one thing that I was once told when approaching Shakespeare is that, so as actors, we're often, when we're grappling with a script, trying to figure out motivations, things like that. Why are people saying and doing the things that they're saying and doing?
Yes.
And with characters like Richard, it's really, really easy to lean into oh, he's just bad for the sake of being bad. He's a liar because he wants to lie. And something one of my teachers once told me, Louis Sheeter, is that the most interesting thing you can do as a Shakespeare character is tell the truth.
Yeah.
And what if every single thing that you are saying in the scene, unless you explicitly in the text, say, I will lie about this, or I did lie about this, what if everything else is the truth? Which I love for moments like this.
Absolutely.
Especially with what's coming up with Richard's quote-unquote motivations for killing Anne's husband.
Yes. Shall we get to those?
Where were we? Some dungeon, your bedchamber.
Yeah, say that bit again. That was good.
Yeah.
Also, I think we have another of those little meter pauses there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Some
you guys
dungeon,
played that
that's
very
3,
well.
Your bedchamber, that's 7. And then there's nothing. So I think that Anne gets
silence.
a moment to go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what? What did...
What was that?
And thou unfit for any place but hell.
Yes, one place else, if you will hear me name it.
Some dungeon.
Your bedchamber.
Ill rest betide the chamber where thou liest.
So will it, madam, till I lie with you.
I hope so.
I know so. But gentle Lady Anne, to leave this keen encounter of our wits, and fall something into a slower method. Is not the causer of the timeless deaths of these Plantagenets, Henry and Edward, as blameful as the executioner?
Thou wast the cause and most accursed effect.
Your beauty was the cause of that effect. Your beauty that did haunt me in my sleep, to undertake the death of all the world, so I might live 1 hour in your sweet bosom.
If I thought that, I tell thee, homicide, these nails should rend that beauty from my cheeks.
These eyes could not endure that beauty's rack. You should not blemish it if I stood by. As all the world is cheered by the sun, so I by that. It is my day, my life.
So, Jordan, are you suggesting he is fully telling the truth at this point?
I think it is a more interesting choice if he is. It's interesting because if we are looking at the play within the context of all the plays that have come before, we know Richard had a ton of other reasons to do the things that he does. If we take the play as most people will see it, just this play, without any of the context of all of the Henry stuff that came before, this could very easily stand as a reason all on its own.
I mean, I love it.
I
love that he looks at Anne and goes, oh yeah, let's get stabbing.
Step aside, Romeo. Step aside.
It's some deep Phantom of the Opera nonsense
Yeah.
of she is so beautiful, and if I can't have her, I'll just keep killing people until she says yes. Girls love that stuff.
Yeah.
Right? That's definitely how romance works.
Yeah,
We banter.
yeah.
I stab her ex so that he becomes her ex, and then I take his place. That's romance, baby. That's love.
Flawless logic.
He does say in his speech at the end, "I'll have her, but I will not keep her long."
Yeah.
I know.
Right,
That's
so
the
I-
most diabolical.
And for me, that does sort of undermine the idea of the sort of maybe him having some genuine love for her. Now, like lust and attraction, I think absolutely worth playing and worth it as like a possible motivation for his actions.
Yeah.
But I also think
Well,
like
now-
the best liars are so good that they can even convince themselves of
But
something.
here's the thing. He never says he loves her.
Yeah.
He says your beauty was the cause of that effect.
Yeah.
You were so beautiful that I had to have you. I had to sleep with you. And like I needed to be with you.
Mm-hmm.
And he technically can't do that if she's got a husband in the way. I mean, like, he could, but
He could.
she probably, she's very virtuous. She's very noble. She's, look at her being a very good daughter-in-law, weeping over her father-in-law's corpse and all of this. She's too noble for that sort of thing. Therefore, he had to make a different sort of opening before he could, get to her opening.
Some congealed mouths.
Some congealed mouths.
God. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's probably enough in the text before and after this to suggest that Richard is, well, he's not being entirely truthful, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the best liars manipulate the truth, right? I mean, this is a very sexy scene over the corpse at a funeral.
It's just so interesting because on the page, when, spoiler alert, Richard is, quote-unquote, successful in this wooing.
Yes.
Well, not quote-unquote, he is successful in this wooing, that it's such a rapid turnaround.
Yeah.
Like, it's such an instant flip for Anne that, the first time I read through it, I was like, wait a minute, what? That
Yeah.
worked? Where did this work? Because there's no moment of like, oh, they kind of start to da-da-da-da-da. Which means that it's all in body language. It's all in what the actors are doing on stage and how they choose to bring it to life and where are they bending and where does this start to go like more into Beatrice and Benedict. Like this is their love language now of insults and jibes and trying to hurt each other as much as possible. When does that get sexy?
I think you can have your cake and eat it with this one. I think you can absolutely find Anne attractive and be telling her that. But right in the opening speech, he tells us, since I cannot prove a lover, I'm determined to be a villain. Like, this can be a moment where he's like, what would be the worst time?
Yeah.
What would be the most villainous time? This can be premeditated, sort of Iago fashion.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And he takes pleasure in how premeditated it is.
Yes.
It goes back to that line at the end of the, as she's spitting poison in my face, as she's weeping. That's when I want her.
I have a suggestion that we take it to up until Richard's big speech coming up here, and we continue to go through that, and then we just go back and run the whole thing, including the end of this scene, which we won't pick apart necessarily, but I think the back and forth is strong enough here. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Great. So shall we take it from Black Night or Shade Thy Day and Death Thy Life?
Yeah. Black night or shade thy day, and death thy life.
Curse not thyself, fair creature, thou art both.
I would I were to be revenged on thee.
It is a quarrel most unnatural, to be revenged on him that loveth thee.
It is a quarrel just and reasonable to be revenged on him that killed my husband.
He that bereft thee, lady, of thy husband, did it to help thee to a better husband.
His better doth not breathe upon the earth.
He lives that loves thee better than he could.
There he says he loves her.
Ah,
He implies that
He implies. He implies. Yeah, I guess.
entendre?
Entendre?
A single entendre.
Yeah.
A single entendre, like, look, I can love you, girl.
Yeah.
So romantic.
I know. Okay, sorry.
He lives that loves thee better than he could.
Name him.
Plantagenet.
Why, that was he.
That self-same name, but one of better nature.
Where is he?
Here. Why dost thou spit at me?
We have a rare stage direction.
She spits at him.
It is in the text. Though I feel like we could have gathered that from context clues because this next line is, why dost thou spit at me? But
why dost thou spit at me?
Would it were mortal poison for thy sake.
Never came poison from so sweet a place.
Never hung poison on a fouler toad. Out of my sight thou dost infect mine eyes.
Thine eyes, sweet lady, have infected mine.
Would they were basilisks to strike thee dead.
beautiful.
Quite an arch thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You killed my husband. I wish that my eyes were ancient Greek snakes.
It's Phoebe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just gonna say,
Let me dart mine eyes at thee. Now and if they have the power, let them kill thee.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yes.
They're the frailest things to shut their coward gates on atomies.
Amazing.
Oh, lovely work.
So, because this is quite a long scene, we're going to pause there in our stumble through of the scene, in our discussion of it, and we're going to go back to the beginning and run the whole thing through, including the rest of the scene, up until Anne's exit. So, with all this context of everything that we've been talking about,
Put it right in.
just put that right in there, and let's see what happens.
Don't forget his awesome weaponry.
Yes.
He's got curved
Yes.
swords, he's got morning stars, he's got a bazooka.
Yeah, exactly. So, whenever you are ready, Jordan, take it away from Enter Richard, Duke of Gloucester.
Stay, you that bear the course, and set it down.
What black magician conjures up this fiend to stop devoted charitable deeds?
Villains, set down the course, or by St. Paul, I'll make a course of him that disobeys.
My lord, stand back and let the coffin pass.
Unmannered dog, stand thou when I command. Advance thy halberd higher than my breast, or by St. Paul, I'll strike thee to my foot, and spurn upon thee, beggar, for thy boldness.
What do you tremble? Are you all afraid? Alas, I blame you not, for you are mortal, and mortal eyes cannot endure the devil. Avaunt, thou dreadful minister of hell! Thou hadst but power over his mortal body, his soul thou canst not have, therefore be gone.
Sweet saint, for charity, be not so cursed.
Foul devil, for God's sake, hence, and trouble us not. For thou hast made the happy earth thy hell, filling it with cursing cries and deep exclaims. If thou delight to view thy heinous deeds, behold this pattern of thy butcheries. O gentlemen, see dead Henry's wounds open their congealed mouths and bleed afresh. Blush, thou lump of foul deformity, for 'tis thy presence that exhales this blood from cold and empty veins where no blood dwells. Thy deeds, inhuman and unnatural, provokes this deluge most unnatural. O God, which this blood madest, revenge his death. O earth, which this blood drinkst, revenge his death. Either heaven with lightning strike the murderer dead, or earth gape open wide and eat him quick, as thou dost swallow up this good king's blood, which this hell-governed arm hath butchered.
Lady, you know no rules of charity, which renders good for bad, blessings for curses.
Villain, thou know'st no law of God nor man. No beast so fierce but knows some touch of pity.
But I know none, and therefore am no beast.
Oh, wonderful when devils tell the truth.
More wonderful when angels are so angry. Vouchsafe, divine perfection of a woman, of these supposed crimes to give me leave by circumstance but to acquit myself.
Vouchsafe, diffused infection of a man, of these known evils, but to give me leave, by circumstance, to curse thy cursed self.
Fairer than tongue can name thee, let me have some patient leisure to excuse myself.
Fouler than heart can think thee, thou canst make no excuse current but to hang thyself.
By such despair I should accuse myself.
And by despairing shalt thou stand excused for doing worthy vengeance on thyself that didst unworthy slaughter upon others.
Say that I slew them not.
Then say they were not slain, but dead they are, and devilish slave by thee.
I did not kill your husband.
Why, then he is alive.
Nay, he is dead and slain by Edward's hands.
In thy foul throat thou liest. Queen Margaret saw thy murderous falchion smoking in his blood, the which thou once didst bend against her breast, but that thy brothers beat aside the point.
I was provoked by her slanderous tongue, that laid their guilt upon my guiltless shoulders.
Thou wast provoked by thy bloody mind, that never dream'st on aught but butcheries. Didst thou not kill this king?
I grant you.
Dost grant me, hedgehog? Then God grant me too. Thou mayst be damned for that wicked deed. Oh, he was gentle, mild, and virtuous.
The better for the King of heaven that hath him.
He is in heaven, where thou shalt never come.
Let him thank me that holp to send him thither, for he was fitter for that place than earth.
And thou unfit for any place but hell.
Yes, one place else, if you will hear me name it.
Some dungeon.
Your bedchamber.
Ill rest betide the chamber where thou liest.
So will it, madam, till I lie with you.
I hope so.
I know so. But gentle Lady Anne, to leave this keen encounter of our wits, and fall something into a slower method. Is not the causer of the timeless deaths of these Plantagenets, Henry and Edward, as blameful as the executioner?
Thou wast the cause, and most accursed effect.
Your beauty was the cause of that effect. Your beauty that did haunt me in my sleep, to undertake the death of all the world, so I might live 1 hour in your sweet bosom.
If I thought that, I tell thee, homicide, these nails should rend that beauty from my cheeks.
These eyes could not endure that beauty's rack. You should not blemish it if I stood by. As all the world is cheered by the sun, so I by that. It is my day, my life.
Black night o'ershade thy day, and death thy life.
Curse not thyself, fair creature, thou art both.
I would I were to be revenged on thee.
It is a quarrel most unnatural, to be revenged on him that loveth thee.
It is a quarrel just and reasonable to be revenged on him that killed my husband.
He that bereft thee, lady, of thy husband, did it to help thee to a better husband.
His better doth not breathe upon the earth.
He lives that loves thee better than he could.
Name him.
Plantagenet.
Why, that was he.
That self-same name, but one of better nature.
Where is he?
Here. Why dost thou spit at me?
Would it were mortal poison for thy sake.
Never came poison from so sweet a place.
Never hung poison on a fouler toad. Out of my sight thou dost infect mine eyes.
Thine eyes, sweet lady, have infected mine.
Would they were basilisks to strike thee dead.
I would they were, that I might die at once, for now they kill me with a living death. Those eyes of thine from mine have drawn salt tears, shamed their aspects with store of childish drops. These eyes, which ne'er shed remorseful tear, no, when my father York and Edward wept, to hear the piteous moan that Rutland made when black-faced Clifford shook his sword at him, nor when thy warlike father, like a child, told the sad story of my father's death, and 20 times made pause to sob and weep, that all the standers by had wet their cheeks like trees bedashed with rain. In that sad time, my manly eyes did scorn a humble tear. And what these sorrows could not thence exhale, thy beauty hath, and made them blind with weeping. I never sued to friend nor enemy. My tongue could never learn sweet smoothing word. But now thy beauty is proposed my fee. My proud heart sues and prompts my tongue to speak. Oh, teach not thy lips such scorn, for it was made for kissing, lady, not for such contempt. If thy revengeful heart cannot forgive, lo, here I lend thee this sharp-pointed sword, which if thou please to hide in this true breast, and let the soul forth that adoreth thee, I lay it naked to the deadly stroke, and humbly beg the death upon my knee. Nay, do not pause, for I did kill King Henry, but 'twas thy beauty that provoked me. Nay, now dispatch, 'twas I that stabbed young Edward, but 'twas thy heavenly face that set me on. Take up the sword again, or take up me.
Arise, dissembler. Though I wish thy death, I will not be thy executioner.
Then bid me kill myself, and I will do it.
I have already.
That was in thy rage. Speak it again, and even with the word this hand, for which thy love did kill thy love, shall for thy love kill a far truer love. To both their deaths shalt thou be accessory.
I would I knew thy heart.
'Tis figured in my tongue.
I fear me both are false.
Then never was man true.
Well, put up your sword.
Say then my peace is made.
That shalt thou know hereafter.
But shall I live in hope?
All men, I hope, live so.
Vouchsafe to wear this ring.
To take is not to give.
Look how my ring encompasseth thy finger. Even so thy breath encloseth my poor heart. Wear both of them, for both of them are thine. And if thy poor devoted servant may but beg one favour at thy gracious hand, thou dost confirm his happiness forever.
What is it?
That it may please you, leave these sad designs to him that hath most cause to be a mourner, and presently repair to Crosby House, where, after I have solemnly interred at Chertsey Monastery this noble king, and wet his grave with my repenitent tears, I will with all expedient duty see you. For divers unknown reasons, I beseech you, grant me this boon.
With all my heart, and much it joys me too to see you are become so penitent. Tressel and Berkeley, go along with me.
Bid me farewell.
'Tis more than you deserve. But since you teach me how to flatter you, imagine I have said farewell already.
Very nice. Well done. Ugh.
He's such a little shit!
He's such a little shit.
Oh, I love him.
The way he frames the choice to be like kill me or marry me, like kill me or
marry
and,
me.
That there is no other there's no in between there anymore, and it's like
My favorite part is when he's like, then bid me kill myself and I will do it. And she's like, I already have. And he's like, well, but you were mad. Yeah. Like, let's talk about this. Yeah.
I did the thing, but it was you. You know, you made me do it. But I did it. I did. But it was your fault, kind of. Though.
Yeah.
So shitty. So shitty.
Yikes.
Oh man, such a good scene. And, you know, like, again, so much of this, like we were saying before, has to come out between the chemistry between the actors, right? Because otherwise this, like, convincing her, this gaslighting, it doesn't work, right? If you don't believe the chemistry between these two characters.
Yeah, I think Richard's supposed repentance at the end is pretty key. That she has to buy that. She has to really believe that he actually is repentant.
He
and
just
it's
wants
odd
to
because
stand there alone.
He doesn't give her a whole lot of text about that. He just kind of, towards the end, is like, oh yeah, and my repentant tears.
Yeah.
But like that seems to be pretty key to me, because I don't necessarily see a lot of evidence in the text that she is actually being seduced by him, like successfully, or sort of like I think interesting, like that again, that battle of wits and like finding your match is like a very attractive thing, even in a maybe an unattractive person or an immoral person. But like, I think being drawn to that is really valuable and necessary. But also that she has to believe that he does actually feel a little bit bad about it, and it's like trying somehow to make it right.
Absolutely.
I wonder just a little bit, because this just struck me. In the monologue that Anne has at the top that we didn't get to, she has a line where she is talking about Richard. Oh, let me see if I can find it, because it feels helpful for this particular moment. But she's talking about how if he ever gets married. Here it is.
Yes, if ever he have wife. Let her be made more miserable by the life of him than I am made by my young lord and thee.
Ooh, I have more miserable by the death of him.
Yeah, sorry, that is a different... That's my Riverside version, has life in brackets.
That's interesting. RSC has death. I kind of think life is more interesting.
I wonder if she has, because she does it in multiple other places here, cursed herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If part of that acquiescence is, the only way that he is going to have a wife who is more miserable and who makes him more miserable in turn as well, if that is her.
And I think later in the play she talks about that, either maybe with Margaret or somebody later. They have a little bit of a scene where she talks about like that she has now become subject to her own curse.
And it's funny because I think she only shows up in like one, maybe two more scenes.
Two other scenes later.
Yeah, she really... Yeah, after this.
She's such a minor character in the grand scheme of the story. I think in the Syrian McKellen film we were talking about, the actress who plays that part is like drunk basically the whole rest of the play. It's kind of just like can't face reality anymore and is kind of just like sitting in a corner like drinking the whole rest of the show.
And I think about that too, like with the context of this scene and kind of what grief can make you do. Grief and anger can make you make really bad choices, and really strange choices. So to what extent is she wooed, and to what extent is she just kind of giving up?
I guess also at this time, she's a queen, so there's only about 5 other people she could marry.
Yeah, that's true. And none of them are good options.
It's true.
No, literally, everyone had a hand in the deaths of her previous husband and the previous king in some way, shape, or form. That is how this court is currently arranged. There are no good options because Richard's brothers aren't exactly a basket of peaches either.
No, they're not. And I think they're spoken for as well. At least Edward. Well, of course Edward is because Elizabeth is his wife. And my other favorite scene in this play is Richard and Elizabeth. So
we'll do that for part 2.
Yeah, exactly.
He's such a rogue.
He really is.
He's such a cad.
He's such a cad. Yeah.
He's the original Mr. Darcy, really.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah.
Richard III falling in the fountain, wet shirt.
The hand,
that'll do it.
The hand flex.
With all his weapons.
Yeah.
Just wearing a vest.
Ooh, that smoking falcon.
Never forget the weapons.
I know, right? Whew. Well, thank you guys so much. Obviously, I love this play. I love this scene. It's so deeply, deeply disturbing, but so beautiful. And the way the language each character plays off of one another, it's just it's like an actor's gift to play this scene. I think I was always really jealous whenever other people got this scene as like their like scene study or whatever. I was like, I want to do that, and I was like. I'll make it happen. Yeah.
It's a good one to be jealous of.
Oh, yeah. It's a great scene. All right, I think that's where we're going to wrap it up for today, but there's more to come soon. Jordan, before we sign off, do you have anything in particular that you would like our listeners to check out?
Yeah, sure. So I am the creator of No Such Thing Productions. Hopefully we will have season 2 of Primordial Deep in the works very soon. So now is a great time to catch up on season 1 if you are into dinosaurs, underwater mysteries, that whole thing. I also have a piece that I briefly referenced earlier called It Will Have Blood, which is a standalone horror piece, which will hopefully by the time this is coming out also be out, or at least on its way soon. So keep your ear to your podcast RSS feeds.
Love that Mackers reference.
I know,
Thank you! I was literally sitting in a performance of Mackers, and he said the line, "It will have blood, blood will have blood," they say. And I went, that's the title! Because it's literally about a giant blood monster. So, which is why I know about the whole, like, blood is hotter on the inside of your body than the outside. Don't worry about it.
And it's also a reference to what we were just talking about with the corpse bleeding in the presence of the guilty party. That's sort of what he's talking about.
And the mouths opening and closing, and in my case, talking to you and whispering horrible nightmare things.
Congealing.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It'll be great.
Sounds amazing.
I love it. Yes, definitely check out all of Jordan's shows. They are amazing. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Calder. Thank you, Felix. Until next time, we'll reconvene for part 2.
Yes, more Richard.
More
blood.
Richard. More blood. Yay!
Hooray.
Buckets of blood.
The Pod's the Thing.
The Pod's the Thing was created by Emma Sherr-Ziarko and Felix Trench, with Beth Eyre and Calder Schilling. It is produced by Emma Sherr-Ziarko. This episode featured Emma Sherr-Ziarko, Felix Trench, Calder Schilling, and Jordan Cobb. It was edited by Emma Sherr-Ziarko. Original artwork by Felix Trench, and original music by Amber Devereaux. Find out more about the show on our website, podsthething.com, and follow us on most social media at Pods the Thing. We're thrilled to be part of the Fable and Folly Network. Check out their full roster of shows at fableandfolly.com. If you like the show, tell your friends. If you don't like the show, tell your foes. And if you can leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening, that really helps us grow the show and find our audience. You can support the show by pledging on Patreon, where you'll get access to all sorts of preview and bonus content. Patreon.com/podsthething. Till next time, thanks, and ever thanks.